Welcome to my digital story, Quarantine Edition. Let's look on a calendar and see where this semester started. On February 4th, 2020, we were in Mooney, in this classroom, learning about technology all together. It's now our final day, May 14th, 2020, and we are all in different locations, connecting with each other through Zoom, through WebEx, and many other things. When I first started this class, I was only thinking about technology that would be useful in a physical classroom. I wanted to find new ways to incorporate little pieces of technology that would just enhance my lesson. I thought a lot about the types of classrooms I had been in, and I sometimes hated when students were always on a computer, where everything was connected to technology. Only 3 months later, our world, education, and personal lives are all dependent on technology. Being in this class during this time has been very eye-opening. It's kind of crazy to think I'm in a class about technology in the classroom during a time when we can only be in a class virtually. In our last class before we were sent home, we shared about different types of technologies that could enhance learning and be helpful tools. We looked at homework help, different types of behavior reinforcement, creative design websites. Now these tools are more important than ever. Here I have a screenshot showing one of the best things that I learned from this class. I was able to make a Canva about how to use Canva and why it's important. I also was able to use the skills that I learned from this to make part of my 5-day lesson plan for my Literacy Methods course. Here you can see that I created a poster I could use to help guide first grade students to write about a holiday they learned about and fill out important details they would eventually present to the class. This was included on a web quest where the students were learning about different holidays and what their importance is and why we should remember them. Excuse my really bad spelling during this. This was one of the best tools I could have used for this project because it allowed me to make a template that worked exactly for what my students needed. I was able to include the important questions they wanted to answer, and I was able to make it to where they had lines and sentence starters so they felt more comfortable. So as you'll see as I'm clicking through these is I have day 1, 2, 3, and 4, where they show the different holidays that students are learning about. On each page, there's videos, articles, and sometimes even a poem for students to learn about a different holiday. This was for first graders, which meant it had to be pretty teacher-directed. However, they still could do this by themselves if they had a parent to help or if they had access to technology at home. So why am I talking about WebQuest? Well, WebQuest is the first lesson that I've ever done that is completely online. And I think right now especially that's a very important thing to talk about. This being my first lesson online, I had to think about a lot of different things. I had to think about how my students would be able to access the information, whether or not they would be able to read it, what types of information I should be giving them, and how it was all going to fit together. Before this class and before this quarantine and insane time, I was so stuck in my ways that I knew exactly how I wanted to teach and I knew all the best ways to teach. They didn't work for every situation. I learned that this semester. Going forward, I want to be able to be adaptable in my classroom, whether it's online, whether it's in person, or whether it's a mixture of both. Our education system will be changing after this. There's no doubt about that. I'm going to be teaching in about 1.5 years, and to think that students won't still have repercussions from this time is pretty insane. I need to know how to be adaptable. I need to know how to help every single student. And I need to know how to be a good teacher. I am hoping that technology will add to my teaching and help me connect with every student. I want my classroom to be engaging with different videos, assistive technology, communication with parents, but I want every student to have access to them. As this course ends and I continue on my teaching journey, I want to recognize the amazing things that technology can do, but also recognize the privilege I have to be able to explore it and learn what I like and what I don't like. Not all of my students will be able to get online to look at my WebQuest. Not every parent can respond on ClassDojo during the day. Technology is not accessible to everyone. In this time, that is even more clear. Technology is powerful and exciting, but until all of my students have access to it, I cannot fully commit to it. Technology should only be used to enhance a child's learning, not hinder them. This is not to say I won't use technology, but I will challenge myself to think before I put something into my lesson. and I will get to know my students and see what types of technology will really benefit them. The students will always be my priority.